10-4 Wilco, copy out.
Oh god, don't hurt me.
So I was doing a CLS class, and then like the instructor had me read this like fake ass, shitty ass 9-line. That's like basically.
Was it not correct?
It was the most it was soul crushing. It's like you were on the
Okay,
radio.
everyone's at the map screen?
Yeah.
Okay, bringing us in.
Yeah.
A soul-crushing 9-line, eh?
Squad leader.
Like imagine a 9-line sounding like, "Hey, I have wounded. I need you to come pick me up pick up the wounded ASAP."
Was it
We got,
intended
like,
to be a terrible
4
example?
dudes who were wounded. They're like shot in the chest. We're gonna mark our location green smoke. Like that kind of bullshit. It hurt my soul reading it.
Do I not have Acre turned on?
I'm sitting here like, I'm gonna be the one reading off a correct 9-line. Nope! Fuck you. You get to read the shitty ass fucking "this is not how you do it" version. Pissed me off. I'm so mad.
Acre is not working for me.
This is also depressing. There's only 4 of us here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you, but I do not have Acre
Hold still,
on.
Zen. Okay, Zenatsu talk?
No.
Zenatsu talking?
No!
Okay.
He is talking.
It looks like it's working now.
Alright.
Alchemist, do you hear me?
Give me a second. I have to turn Acre back on. I was just trying to find my
He's
mouse.
keying up, but I don't hear him. Make sure, tit tab and see if you're whispering.
Triple CC, you hear me?
I hear you.
Perfect. Acre didn't load properly for me. I don't know what's going on there. I think probably the same thing has happened to Alchemist.
Alright, you got me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I actually turned Acre off. I forgot about it.
Good job. You heard me yell.
Dummy. Okay.
God, everybody's so quiet now, though.
Okay, welcome to our basic radio procedures training. What we're going to go over during this training are the ABCs, radio communication, pro words, components of signal, network types and organization, reports, and working with the radio. This will just help ensure clear and accurate radio communication between 9FID members. 9IFID. I can get our name right. We're going to start off with the ABCs of radio communication. These are, simply put, accuracy, brevity, and clarity. Accuracy means to pass accurate information about what you've seen or heard. Do not extrapolate beyond what you can reasonably verify. For example, if you hear a vehicle engine, but you can't tell what kind of vehicle it is, just say that you hear vehicle audio or you hear an engine. Don't assume it's a T-72 and report that until you know for sure that it is a tank. Brevity. Keep your radio signal as brief as possible to transmit as much information in the smallest amount of time as you can. So you don't want to be long and drawn out on the radio, taking up that radio time, because if you're talking on the radio, no one else can, and other people may have important information to pass on. Messages should be short and to the point, without any unneeded banter or miscellaneous noise. Think about your message before you transmit, and transmit only what is relevant. To that end, if you're going to say something like on the radio or have a long pause in your transmission, it's better to use a pro word called break and get off the radio and then resume speaking on the radio when you have the information to say. Next, we have clarity. Your message must be clear and understandable. Always use correct procedures and pro words to avoid confusion. This ensures that the meaning of your message and that you send and the meaning of the message that the receiver gets is the same. Because if you say one thing and they think it means a different thing, or they can't understand what you are saying, then your message will not be successfully transmitted. So again, accuracy, brevity, clarity. Does anyone have any questions about the ABCs of radio communication? Alright, we're going to carry on to components of a signal. Alchemist, Zen, do either of you have the lesson plan open?
Nope.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll just be both parts of the conversation then, but that's okay.
I can get the thing open if.
Sorry,
Oh, here it
Alchemist,
is.
did you say you did?
Yeah, I do.
I got it.
Ah.
Damn.
Okay, so Alchemist, if you go to section 2, components of a signal,
Yep.
We'll just go through that together. I'll start out, and I will be 1-2, you can be 1-1. So there are 5 components of a signal when you're transmitting on the radio. To define the signal, that's the entire message back and forth. The signal is composed of usually more than one transmission. A transmission is each discrete message on the radio. So this is a transmission. If you were to reply to that, then those 2 transmissions would make up the signal. So that should clarify this a little bit. So the first part of a signal is the call sign. This will be the call sign of the person you want to talk to, or the receiver, followed by your own call sign, the sender. So it'll go something like this. 1-1, this is 1-2, over. Then we'll have the initiation. This is the receiver confirming they're ready to receive the signal. So
1-2, this is 1-1, go ahead, over.
So 1-1 has let 1-2 know that they're ready for whatever information or traffic that 1-2 is going to send. So then we have the message. This is the main body of the signal that is the actual information to be carried. 1-1, your voice sounds really pretty today. How copy, over. Then we have the reply. This is the receiver responding to the message and confirming or acknowledging that they have received it.
1-2, solid copy, thank you, over.
Then there's the end of traffic. If the message is over and no more transmissions are needed, the sender will end the transmission. And it should always be the sender who originally spoke on the radio first, ending the transmission. 1-1, Roger, out. So again, we have the call sign, the initiation, the message, the reply, and then the end of traffic. Is that clear to everyone? Any questions? Okay. Now we're going to do pro words. So, pro words are some specified words that have their own definition when used during radio traffic. So if someone says a particular pro word on the radio, it will have a specific meaning to both the sender and the receiver that everyone can understand, and it shortens down the amount of traffic you need by allowing you to just say a single word rather than saying an entire phrase. Sometimes there are also specific words that are used for clarity. The first of these of our pro words is affirm. Affirm just means yes, but it's a much more easily distinguished word on the radio than yes is. So affirm is yes. Next, we have all call signs. All call signs means that the message that is going to be transmitted next is for everyone or all of the call signs on this radio net. Alchemist, can you go through the next ones with me? I'll start out with the back and forth for break. Next we have break. Break is used to divide a long message into segments and allows priority traffic to interrupt if needed. So if you're transmitting a routine message and it's a long message, so every now and then you go break and pause and then continue transmitting. If someone else has something really important, they can interrupt your signal during a break. They can interrupt your signal during a break and get in their important transmission while you're taking a pause. So I'll just do the play-by-play here. 1-0, this is 1-1, 75% on ammo, no wounded, break. 1 times AT4 expended, over. Then we have how copy. How copy is used to request receipt of the last transmission. So you're asking whoever you're talking to if they understood your message.
1-1, this is 1-0. Rearm with AT4 from HMMWV.
Humvee.
Okay, thank you. How copy? Over.
So they've told 1-1 to rearm with an AT4 from the Humvee and asked how well they understood the message. Next we have copy. Copy means that the last transmission was received satisfactorily. This can be prefaced with a word like solid or good to give solid copy, good copy, that sort of thing. But it does not need to be used with a additional word. 1-0, solid copy, over, correction, out. Next we have contact. Contact means that the sender has made contact with the enemy.
You want me to give this one then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. 1-0, this is 1-1. Contact northwest of our position, 1 times BTR, 200 meters, over.
Then we have over, which you've probably heard used a few times. Over means that my message is finished, please reply. So if you say over, you're asking for a response. And it also means that the net is not ready for new traffic. So no one else should jump into the middle of the conversation because the signal is not finished. 1-1, this is 1-0, roger on BTR, engage with AT, over. Then we have out. Out means that my message is finished, do not reply, and that the net is ready for new traffic. So out ends the signal, while over just ends a transmission and asks for a reply. So if you say out, then no one should continue talking, unless there is a new signal that needs to go onto the radio. Go ahead, Alchemist.
1-0, 1 times BTR destroyed, out.
So then that signal is complete, and no more traffic is being sent. Next we have Oscar Mike. Oscar Mike just means on the move, like the team is moving or the squad is moving. So if I was a squad leader and I said Oscar Mike, it means my squad is on the move. If I was a fire team leader and I said, okay, Alpha, Oscar Mike, let's get going. For example, 1-0, this is 1-1, we are Oscar Mike to the next objective, over. So 1-1 is telling 1-0 that 1-1 is moving to the next objective. Additionally, the word mic by itself, usually plural, mics, can be used to indicate minutes. So if someone says they'll be ready in 5 mics, they're saying they'll be ready in 5 minutes. This is distinct from the word mic as a part of the pro word Oscar Mike, which just means on the move. Next we have more to follow. More to follow means that the transmitting station has additional traffic for the receiving station. You can use this if you're not finished a message and you're going to a break, or if you're going to have additional information for the receiver shortly but need to gather it. You could use it before saying over or before saying break, or even in some cases before saying out, if it's going to be a while for you to get your hands on the information, or if you don't have it or it doesn't exist yet. Alchemist, go ahead.
1-1, this is 1-0, hold for 5 mics, more to follow, break.
So in that case, 1-0 is instructing 1-1 to wait for 5 minutes, and that they have more information for them in 5 minutes, or in the future. And then they've said break to allow other people to interrupt the transmission. Next we have repeat. Repeat instructs a unit to perform an action a second time. So if you're going to repeat a fire mission, or repeat a mortar strike or a CAS mission. To physically do something again is to repeat. So here we go. With the last transmission, 1-0 said break, meaning other traffic can interrupt. So we're going to have some interrupting traffic of this signal. 1-4, this is 1-2. Repeat last fire mission. Over. So 1-0 said break, allowing 1-2 to step in and ask 1-4, the mortar element, to repeat their last fire mission. Maybe some enemies escaped, or new enemies have moved into the same area. In either case, they need more rounds on that target. So they're telling the mortars to repeat and shoot again. Next, we have Roger. Roger means I have received your last transmission satisfactorily. So basically,
1-2.
I heard you.
This is 1-4. Roger on fire mission. Over.
So 1-4's saying, okay, we hear you 1-2, we're going to send it again. Next, we have say again. Say again requests that the last message be transmitted a second time. It's vitally important not to confuse say again with repeat. Say again means literally to say something again, while repeat means to do something a second time. 1-2, this, correction. 1-4, say again, over. So 1-4 didn't hear 1-2 properly and is asking them to say again. Next we have I say again. I say again is used to let the receiver know that you are saying a portion of your transmission again. So they don't, for example, if you instruct them to do something and they don't hear it properly, and then you instruct them to do it again, you want them to be sure that it's not instructions to do it a second time, but just a clarification of your previous message. Go ahead, Alchemist.
1-2, I say again. Roger on fire mission. How copy? Over.
Next we have wait. Wait means that I must pause for a few seconds. A specific period of time can be used by saying a number after wait for seconds, or a number with the pro word mic for minutes. If that amount of time passes, contact should be reestablished. Wait out can also be used to indicate a pause that will be longer than a few minutes. Or if you don't know how long your pause will be, you can use wait out. Wait out ends the signal, and it is the only time that the receiver can end the signal. Otherwise, it should always be the sender who ends the signal. So for example, 1-4, solid copy, wait 2 mics for report of effects, over. So in that case, 1-2 is telling 1-4, the mortar element, that they understood their message, and to wait 2 minutes for them to tell them the effect of their fire mission. And then ending with the pro word over. Then we finally have Wilco. Wilco means that I have received your signal, I understand it, and I will comply. So if you're receiving instructions and you're going to say Wilco, you're saying I will comply with those instructions. Go ahead, Alchemist.
1-2, Wilco. Over.
In this case, 1-4 is letting 1-2 know that they're going to comply with the instructions to wait 2 minutes. Okay, are there any questions about the pro words? I know it's a pretty heavy section. Okay, if there's nothing, I'll carry on. So next we're going to talk about types of net and their organization. We use 3 main levels of net in Ironfist. We have squad net, then we have platoon net, and then we have the fire support net. Squad net is used for communication within a squad. So that's all the short-range radios that everyone carries, the 343s, that everyone on the fire team has. That's squad net. So the squad will all be on channel 1, that is their net. It's primarily used for the squad leaders and their fire team leaders to talk to each other. Other soldiers should generally avoid talking on squad net unless there is particularly important information. So a contact report would be appropriate on SquadNet, for example, but hey, pass me a magazine would not be. Then there's PlatoonNet. This is used for communication between squad leaders and the platoon leader. So it passes information between them and helps coordinate the maneuver of the platoon as a whole. So if 1-1 needs to talk to 1-2, or either of them need to talk to the 1-0 platoon headquarters, then that would be PlatoonNet. Usually this is done on the 148? Yeah, the 148 radios, which is the normal long-range radio that squad leaders and above carry. Then finally we have the fire support net. This net is used by the JTAC or forward observers to call in fire support missions from either mortars or artillery or close air support aircraft for these 4 assets on the ground. So if the JTAC needs to call to the helicopter to put some rockets on a target, he uses the fire support net. Sometimes this is done on the 148s, but it's also often done on either the 152s or the 117 backpack radios. Do you have any questions about these levels of net? Janata? Okay. Next we have reports. So these are some basic reports, usually used by fire team leaders on SquadNet, which is what this radio course is geared towards. They're the radio check, the ACE report, and the lock stat. The first of these, the radio check, is just a basic radio check that should be done at the start of operations by every member of fire teams and squads on all levels of net, and this just ensures that everyone can properly hear each other on their radios. However, radio checks may also be done as needed during a mission by anyone who is talking on the radio to ensure that whoever they're trying to send messages to can properly receive them. The sender should ask for a radio check from the receiver. And here's an example of that. 1-1 Alpha, this is 1-1, radio check, over. So that's 1-1, the squad leader, asking 1-1 Alpha, the fire team, to do a radio check and make sure that they can hear the squad leader. The receiver should then reply with how strong and understandable the signal is. So how strong is how loud it is, and how understandable is how much static or distortion there is in the radio. For strength or loudness, use loud, good, or weak. So loud means a good loud signal, good means it's alright, and weak means that the signal is quiet or hard to hear. Then, for understandability, use clear, readable, or unreadable. So if the signal is nice and clear with no distortion, you say clear. If the signal is understandable, but there is some sort of distortion or static, you can say readable. And if you cannot hear the signal properly, you say unreadable.
One, I read you. Good and readable. Over.
So in that case, 1-1 Alpha can read 1-1, but the signal strength is good and readable, so it's not exceptionally loud and it's not exceptionally clear, but it's still understandable. Do you have any questions about the radio check? Okay, next we're going to talk about the ACE report. So an ACE report is a short report on the health of the unit. ACE stands for ammunition, casualties, and equipment. Ammunition should be given as a percentage or a color, so either 100% or 75% or 50% or lower if you're in a bad way. Or you could say green, yellow, red, with green being you have used almost no ammunition, yellow being you've used some, and red meaning if you've used a lot. Casualties should be your number of wounded or dead. Generally speaking, you don't need to include any casualty that you can quickly fix with a bandage, but if someone's seriously injured or is walking speed only, include them in the casualty list, and anyone who is dead, include them as well. Equipment could be any sort of equipment that you have used up to that point, including your anti-tank weapons, if you have demolition charges or satchel charges, those. If you're low on medical supplies, you can include it here, or if your vehicle, say you have a Humvee and you've lost a wheel, it can be included in this section. So here's an example. 1-1 Alpha, this is 1-1. Give me an ace report, over.
1-1, 1-1, this is 1-1A. We are 75 on ammo. Ammo, 1 dead, 1 times AT4 used, over.
Bruh, I got my ammas.
1-1A Alchemist? What's that? Anyways, so there's a good example of a...
is what it says.
1-1 Alpha.
Yeah.
A's always Alpha.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what A is.
When you're on a radio,
say Alpha.
When you're on a radio, you'll always use phonetics for letters.
Next we have the lock stat, or location status report. A lock stat is used to obtain the location and the direction of travel of a unit, and it consists of the following 4 pieces of information. The location, the movement status, the formation, and the direction of facing or movement. So location, movement, formation, direction. Location should be given as a grid reference, and it may also be given as a terrain reference. So you could say you're at 042, 048, keypad 3, and then you could also include in the trees or in the forest. You could also say we're in the control tower on the airfield, because that's a pretty distinct landmark that could be used as a terrain reference. Movement status is either moving, because you're moving, or stationary, because you're not moving. Formation should be whatever formation you're in, a wedge, a line, etc. And then direction of facing or movement is the general direction that the fire team as a whole is facing. So we'll do an example here. And it could be a compass bearing, or it could be just north, northwest, if you're fairly close to those. 1-1 Alpha, this is 1-1. Give me a lock stat, over.
1-1, this is 1-1 Alpha. We are at grid 042, 048, keypad 3, in the woods, stationary, in a line formation, facing bearing 80 degrees, over.
So that just lets your squad leader know exactly where your fire team is and what they're doing. Okay, do you have any questions about the lock stat? And do you have any questions about the reports in general before we carry on?
Drew, I have a quick question.
Sure thing, Matt.
Do 203 rounds, do you want to include those in an ace report, or is that just included in general ammo?
Generally, it should just be included in ammunition, unless, say, you're flat out of them, or you need some particular type, like we need smoke rounds for this assault, or something like that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. If it's particularly pertinent, you could include it separately in equipment, but otherwise I would just include it generally in ammunition. Okay. Matt, you've done this course before, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you still calling me sir?
I was raised military. It's ingrained.
There was someone else who started calling me sir. Someone I gave fam to a little while ago.
Yeah,
like
I heard
one
about
of our
that.
new guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Triple C. Do you feel like doing some practice?
Sure thing.
Okay. You have a radio, right? You've been able to hear our radio transmissions, I assume. It would be kinda dumb if you hadn't been able to. Actually, you know what? I should probably do a little bit on operating the radio here.
Like change the channel and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Also
Oh, it's pretty
explaining
easy.
the
I talk about
attack.
the 343 in the FAM training actually. I think it's
Oh,
worth reviewing here.
um, mm, mm, do you talk about the channel block in FAM?
No, but we don't ever use it.
I know, it's just one of those things that when somebody clicks it, they're like, what the hell is this thing?
That's fair. Actually, Alchemist, I'd like to test that out. I'm gonna set myself to channel block 2.
You want me to do the same?
No, set yourself to channel block 1, and we'll both be on channel 1. I just want you to transmit now, and I want to see if I can hear it.
Okay.
So go ahead, transmit.
Dro, this is Alchemist.
Okay, yeah, so they are separate. I wasn't sure if they were simulated or not yet.
Yeah,
But
I think they've been for
it
a
looks
while.
like they are.
So wait, so you successfully blocked them?
So the 343 has 16 channels. You can select on the channel dial, but if you take off the push to talk handle, there's a channel block selector underneath it, and you can set it to one of 16 different channel blocks. So the radio actually has 256 channels.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You can try it out yourself. Open up your radio and click on the handle on the right side.
Block meant something else than what it actually was entailing.
Yeah, it's called channel block in Acre. It's called channel group in the actual radio's manuals.
That makes more sense.
Channel group is more correct.
Oh,
Channel block makes sense too, because it's a block of channels.
Yeah, and it wouldn't make sense to block a channel since you can only monitor one channel with the 343.
Yeah.
So you would just be turning off your radio.
Maybe I should let people know about that. Okay. Triple CC, open up your radio.
Yes.
And then if you see on the right side, there's the push to talk handle with the big black buttons. If you hover over that, it'll say detach handle. Click on that and your handle will come off. Seen?
Yep.
And then you see the little blue button underneath the contacts. So you can left and right click on that to switch between groups of channels. So if you had two different companies, one company would operate on channel block 1 and the other would operate on channel group 2. And so they could transmit on the same channels but not interfere with each other because they're actually on distinct channels. It's worth noting that if you have the handle detached and then you close your radio, you can't transmit because you've taken your push-to-talk key off the radio.
Oh, does that work?
Yep, go ahead and try it.
Oh.
Detach the handle, close your radio, and try and talk.
Oh, it stays detached?
Yeah, it stays detached even when your radio's closed. Then when you open up again, it'll
You don't even
still be
have to
detached.
close your radio.
Oh yeah, it doesn't even
you have
let
the
you.
radio open.
Yep.
Oh.
So always remember to reattach your handle if you take it off for some reason.
Interesting. All this useless information.
Yep. One day, when we have 2 companies worth of Arma players, it'll be useful.
I know, right?
One day.
Actually, I think I might just send
Sam?
people out on secret ops on block 2.
Yeah. One thing we can do with that, though, is we could set it up in TVTs, so one group is on channel group 2 and one group is on channel 2 group 1. Rather than...
No radio sabotage?
Well, not necessarily. Man, I'd really like it if we had 2 companies worth of players. I mean, it'd be kind of a shit show, but Arma would crash all the time.
I mean, I would be stoked with 2 platoons.
Yeah, that's what I really want as well.
If Arma3 could handle 2 companies, that would be insane. But Arma can't handle
pretty sweet.
Or 1 company.
How many platoons in a company?
Well, at least 2 platoons is a company.
Typically 3.
Typically 3, usually no more than 4. It starts to get unwieldy after that.
2, it's not unheard of, but like 2 is your bait, like the minimum. To the
you have to, otherwise you're just a platoon. Yeah.
And you have 3 platoons because you'll have a headquarters platoon and then 2 actual working platoons.
If you have a weapons platoon, do you also usually have weapons squads within the rifle platoons?
No. Well, depends on your army too. usually you'll have your company, which you'll have your headquarters platoon, your weapons platoon, and then a couple of rifle platoons. And then you might attach members of your weapons platoon out to the rifle platoons. So if you have like 2 machine gun squads and an anti-tank squad, you could split them up. So each platoon gets a machine gun squad and an anti-tank fire team or something like that. But it's above our current Arma level, unfortunately.
Alright,
It's really above what Arma can handle.
The ABCs.
Fortunately.
Yes, Alchemist?
I'm just saying.
Easy as 1, 2, 3?
No. Confirming ABC practical. Radio.
Yeah, we can do some practical. Okay, are you ready, Triple C? I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what
Yeah.
does repeat mean?
To repeat an action.
Okay. What does wait mean?
Wait. Usually followed by a number for how many minutes you should wait.
Okay. What does how copy mean?
You desire a receipt for the message you sent.
Sounds good. Can you give me a radio check? I'll ask you over the radio. You will be 1-1 Alpha. I will be 1-1. 1-1 Alpha, this is 1-1. Radio check, over.
1-1. This is 1-1 Alpha. Read you loud and clear.
Gotta say over.
Over.
Perfect.
Get it wrong, I'm gonna shoot you.
He's still
Don't-
invincible in this one. Oh, actually, are we invincible in this one?
We'll find out.
Don't be fooled. He's gonna shoot you anyway.
That's only.
Yep, we're invincible in this one.
Yeah, that's only.
Okay.
Wait, I'm an instructor, but he's a regular trainee.
Nah, it's always. Well,
I know.
actually, no, that's not true. In the first aid course, only the instructors are invincible.
Let's find out. Get one wrong, dude.
Okay, Triple C, do you have any final questions?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. I think all of this is up on the forum as well. Under, there's
it is.
radio pro words under SOPs, and I think there's a copy
Training
of the
grounds.
lesson plan under training grounds.
Yeah.
So you can always read up on it if you have any more questions, or feel free to message me. And that will bring our training to a close.